Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod review. Today we're checking out a brand new weapon mod that we actually covered in last week's Mods Weekly, but this really deserves its own breakdown because there's a lot going on in this mod. The mod we're talking about today is the lever action shotgun, otherwise known as the Winchester 1887 by Pig and Bwones. This is a wonderful new recreation of the Winchester 1887 shotgun, or as some of you may know it, the lever action shotgun from Fallout New Vegas. This thing comes complete with some beautiful new custom models and textures, of course, custom animations for this weapon to function, and leveled-less integration and a few other goodies, including a unique variant for you to find out in the world. Now, if you did catch the Mods Weekly, we did do a nice simple breakdown of this mod, but I didn't really have the time to go fully in-depth with this weapon like I typically do, which is what we're going to do here today. Now, for starters, one of the key selling points of this mod is definitely the custom animations. You're actually going to get two sets of custom animations for this weapon. The standard set, which will be your typical reload, and then another version which will actually rotate the weapon when you fire it. If you're familiar with Terminator, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. While this may significantly reduce your rate of fire, it's going to add a whole lot of style points as you're taking down raiders. These new animations can be applied over at the weapons workbench, along with a plethora of new options that allow you to customize this weapon much further than you ever could in Fallout New Vegas. A pretty notable part that I did skip over in Mods Weekly is that this actually does have integration with munitions. So if you are using munitions, you can have this make use of the 20 gauge shotgun shell, much like it did in Fallout New Vegas. Even though the real life version is typically chambered in 12 gauge, if you want a more accurate to New Vegas version of this weapon, you can have the munitions integration with 20 gauge. However, there is a vanilla option for those of you who do not want that. So it's really up to you how you want to integrate this weapon into your game. Now then, if you'd like to get your hands on one of these beautiful new shotguns, you can actually find it out in the leveled list. It will start spawning out in the world after level 10, and you can find it on Raiders, Gunners, Minutemen, and even Far Harbor Trappers. Speaking of Far Harbor, that is going to be a dependency for this mod, which is kind of to be expected with anything lever related. Now, I did mention earlier that there is a new unique weapon added in this mod, and that is known as the Bouquet. This bad boy is going to give you a nice bonus to fire rate and reload speed, definitely a huge bonus when using something that is lever action. If you want to get your hands on this weapon, you need to head over to Fallon's department store, the one that's absolutely full of super mutants. Once inside, you will find a utility tunnel that will lead you to the weapon. Here's a newly added corpse that may look a little bit familiar if you're a Terminator fan, and on that corpse you will find the weapon. I think that covers most of the basic stuff. Let's go ahead and get a more in-depth look at this weapon, starting with its stats. Looking at this thing in the weapon preview menu, we can see that this thing has a base damage of 45, makes use of 20 gauge shells. Again, if you are using munitions, it'll be 12 gauge normal shotgun shells if you don't. Has a fire rate of 5. I believe that is heavily influenced by the fact that I have the spin animation on this one, so that is a bit more of a variable. It has a range of 71, an accuracy of 26, a weight of 7.5 pounds, and a value of only 49 caps. This does start spawning at level 10, so having a pretty high value would be a bit unbalanced, so props to Pig for paying attention to that. Now then, let's talk about one of the most exciting parts of this mod, the animations. What makes this mod so satisfying, like the title implies. That wasn't clickbait, this really is a satisfying weapon. Let's go ahead and show off the regular animations and then check out those flip animations as well. And if I haven't mentioned this prior, this weapon does also have bullet counted reload support, so you can reload the exact number of shells, unlike the vanilla game, so that's very nice. Now then, let's check out those flip animations. You may have noticed right at the end there, you can actually get some of that fire rate back if you do aim down sights while using the flip animation. So if you hip fire, you're going to get that flip, but if you're aiming down sights, it doesn't actually do the flip animation, which is pretty cool. This thing has quite a bit of versatility in combat. Now, those animations are pretty awesome, but just how effective is the weapon in combat? We'll first be testing that out by checking out how accurate the weapon is, using multiple targets at different ranges. Starting off with close range, shotgun hits the target no problem, and at medium range, the same is true. What about long range? Very cool. Unlike some of the other shotguns in this game, it is actually pretty functional at longer ranges. Any bit further than that, though, I bet this would actually have a bit of a problem hitting it. Unless, of course, you throw in some slugs. Now, before we get into that damage test, let's go ahead and check out the attachments over at the weapons workbench to see how we can increase that damage as well as the other stats. Starting off with the receiver section, we have standard up through advanced, pretty typical stuff here, giving you a maximum damage of 87 without perks compared to the standard 45. We also have a barrel section where we can throw on the short, medium, and long barrels. We also have a stock section with quite a few options. We have the sawn-off stock, the spiked sawn-off stock, which will give you more bashing damage, the full stock, the improved sawn-off stock, which will add a nice leather wrap. We have the spiked full stock and the improved full stock, which will give you that leather wrap, as well as a nice little holder for your shotgun shells. Then we have different ammo types you can throw onto this weapon, which is very nice for increasing its versatility in combat. We have Junk Shot, which is a whole bunch of rusty screws and nails, which will add a little bit of poison damage, giving you some nice tetanus. We have the Glass Junk Shot, which is just a handful of broken glass and will inflict bleed. We have standard old Buckshot, Dragon's Breath, which will of course add some incendiary damage. Slugs will give you more damage and of course a precise target since it is one projectile. We have Flechettes, which will decrease the damage a little bit but give you armor penetration. We have Magnum Buckshot, which will increase damage and also increase recoil. The Pulse Slug will be acting just like the regular slug, but also adding some electrical damage and does bonus damage against power armor and robots. We also have Bubba's Hot Load, which is going to greatly increase damage and recoil. I'm assuming there's a whole lot of powder in there. And then finally, we have the Plasma Slug, which is just like the other slugs, except it's going to have a bit more of that energy damage, giving you, I think, the most damage overall as far as ammo types are concerned. Moving on, we have the sight section where you have the standard iron sights. We have a couple of reflex sight options and even a short and medium scope, which can be paired pretty well with the slugs, making this pretty decent at range. We also have a muzzle section where you can throw on a muzzle brake and a spiked muzzle brake, very similar to how they function in the vanilla game on the double barrel. And then we have the animation section where you can choose the standard or spin animation. The spin animation has absolutely no stat increases, it actually reduces the rate of fire, but it's really cool. And then now it is of course time for our damage test. We'll be running this test today on 3 Deathclaws as our damage baseline. Starting off on the left here, we'll be using a very standard version of the weapon with no attachments and no perks. Then we'll be using a version with a maxed out receiver, and then finally a fully upgraded version with the maxed out receiver and the best damage ammo type, which is Bubba's Hot Load. It does miss a couple of points on the Plasma Slug, but the Deathclaws here actually have resistance to energy damage, so I think Bubba's Hot Load is going to perform just a tad bit better. All of these are going to be done with no perks, so we can see how the weapon performs on its own. If you'd like to guesstimate what the perk damage would do, it's just double whatever we have here. So let's go ahead and start off with the regular version of the shotgun. No attachments, no perks. Let's see how it does. And to be expected with no attachments and perks, this thing is performing not the best. The spread means we're not getting all shots on the weak point, and thus it's going to take a little while. And that Deathclaw is down in, I believe, 24 shots. Might have been 30. I lost count, to be honest. But not too shabby in terms of total number of shells, but what's really killing us here is the fire rate. So you're definitely going to want to invest in some of the better receivers and ammo types. Speaking of which, let's see how we do with a fully upgraded receiver. Noticeably different damage per shell, plus we have an extended tube here, so we shouldn't have to reload quite as much. Also, turns out I was completely lying. We didn't have the extended tube. Whoops. It seems like that Deathclaw went down in about 9-ish shots though, so pretty cool. Now then, let's see how we do with Bubba's Hot Load. And that time, the Deathclaw is down in only 4 shots. A massive improvement, and we haven't even added perks. If you had a maxed out Rifleman perk, the Deathclaw would be down in 2 shots. Not to mention you can even throw on Bloody Mess, so that's pretty dang crazy. Altogether, this weapon proves to be more than effective in combat once you throw on some upgrades, and of course it is just very satisfying to use with those beautiful custom animations, awesome sound design as well. Altogether, this is just an amazing weapon, so I highly recommend that you go and try it out. If you'd like to, it will be linked down in the description below, and as of now, it is also available on Xbox, so Xbox users can enjoy this one as well. So go ahead and check it out, and while you're at it, consider dropping a rating on this video if you enjoyed it. It really helps out the channel, and even consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. And of course, a very special thank you to Avian4, Captain Chaos, Freedom, Glasma, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie Noid, Kid Hades, Cushy, Logan Rigmaiden, Mikerhan, Moonlit Gamer, Oscar, Scott, Steven, Timmy76, YouthRC, and Voider for joining that tier 3 Patreon membership. If you'd like to support the channel over on Patreon, you can do so using the link down in the description, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace!